You're listening to the Icandemy Podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Do you ever think to yourself, I want to be able to impact lives, leave an imprint in this world, but you feel isolated, stuck, unclear on how to show up or get started? If you've answered yes to this question, I want to extend a very special invitation to you to join us on our upcoming workshop, the Courageous Confidence Workshop. This workshop is live, where we get to work together on that call so that you can crack the confidence code, awaken your inner giant, show up authentically, and attract your tribe. Head on over to offers.icandemy.org/courageous. Again, it's offers.icandemy.org/courageous. You'll find the links in the show notes below. Hey, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Icandemy Podcast. Welcome. I'm super excited to be here recording this episode for you today. How have you been? What have you been up to? Head on over to www.icandemy.org and leave me a voice message. Let me know what you have been up to. Or if that's not your jam, no problem at all. You can always send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. Again, it's hello@icandemy.org. Welcome. And on today's episode, I am delighted because we're going to be continuing the conversation from the last episode. On the last episode, we talked about opportunity. We defined it. What is this thing? What is this thing called opportunity? And why is it that this thing, as little as it may seem, makes a huge difference in the outcome that we have in our lives, right? Because like I said on the last episode, opportunity is a no respecter of persons. It is solely dependent on principles and proactive application of the laws of opportunity. Wait, did I just say laws? Yes. This entity called opportunity works on some laws. And we're going to be exploring that on today's episode. Because the laws of opportunity are so universal in nature that it comes to everyone. Remember when I said on the last episode that opportunity comes to everyone? The only hindrance then, the only thing that will stop us from receiving or acknowledging or recognizing an opportunity would be most times our mindset and perspective. Remember the quote from the last episode by Thomas Edison? A lot of people do not recognize opportunity because it comes dressed in overalls and looks like work, right? I want you to start to see, and I gave you an assignment last week. I hope you did it, to sit down and look back into the archives of your life to see where certain opportunities were missed so that we can fix it and move forward. On today's episode, though, I'm going to be elaborating some more on how do we identify opportunities. Opportunities are so universal that it took a desert nomad girl living in Somalia who was circumcised at 5 years old, sold into marriage at 12, to becoming a supermodel, author, actress, and human rights activist. Who would have thought that opportunity will find this young girl, who's now an amazing woman, in the desert, a nomad in the desert of Somalia? You see why I say opportunity is universal? It is still no respecter of persons. If you are aware of it when it comes knocking and you grab it and embrace it with both arms, it will definitely change your life. Who is this woman that I'm talking about? Her name is Waris Dirie. And Waris Dirie is the author of a book that I read called Desert Dawn. And when I read this book, it totally blew my mind. It opened my mind as to, the whole limitation when we say, oh, I don't have opportunities because I'm in a village or I'm in a desert, or, there's so many things that we always tell ourselves, or stories that we tell ourselves in our mind as to why we cannot become what we desire or what we know we are capable of becoming. because we believe or we think that our situation, our location, our circumstances is an hindrance. But I put it to you today, based on the story of Waris Diri, that opportunity again is so universal that it would even find you in the desert of Somalia, right? I don't want to spoil the book for you. So if you can, go get it. It's on Amazon. It's called Desert Dawn. And the author's name is Waris Diri. Read it. It's a super interesting story that will inspire you to begin to find the opportunities in your life. Okay, so how do we recognize this entity called opportunity? How do we know that the next 5 minutes of our lives will change? For opportunity to be profitable, we must recognize when it comes knocking. And this is an age-old concept because in the Bible, in Isaiah 55:10, it tells us that as the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater. What does this mean? It means that two people can get different results from the same thing. In Isaiah, it's telling us here that the rain and the snow comes down from heaven and must, when it descends on this earth, it must water the earth. It must make it bud and flourish so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater. So this rain has come, has watered the ground, but there are two different outcomes at the end. Some people get the seed and sow, while others just get the bread and eat. It means two people can get different results from the exact same thing. What a farmer sees as a seed, the eater sees as bread. Okay, family, let's face it, we've all felt pain. We've suffered the losses. You know what it's like to want something so bad, but not see a path to its accomplishment. The question, however, is, do you know how to pick yourself up and move on despite what has happened? This is what I share with you inside of my new book, Good Medicine for the Crushed Spirit, a practical guide to helping you find purpose when adversity strikes. Inside this book, you will find personal stories, relatable biblical tales, and anecdotes that prove you are never alone in your despair. I will inspire you to turn pain, discomfort, disappointment, or setbacks into something positive that works for you. So if you're ready to change your life in meaningful and purposeful ways, get your copy of this book today and let the transformation begin. So how do we recognize opportunity? Number one, like I said before, our mindset. We must, absolute must, cultivate a mindset of possibilities that sees potential in everything so that we can always be prepared. That's the first step to recognize an opportunity. A lot of us just don't prepare for our tomorrow because we do not see, we cannot envision what tomorrow will look like, right? But a lot of us, we just take it lightly or just sit and do nothing. No, if you have a talent or a gift for speaking, for dancing, I know in one of my previous episodes I talked about these guys, Tofo Tofo. They're a dance group in Mozambique, and they appeared in Beyonce's video "Who Runs the World, Girls." Those guys were dancing in the backyard of the dusty streets of Mozambique. But they were doing something. And because of what they were doing, they were preparing themselves for the moment of opportunity when Beyonce started looking for them, right? So that's number one, mindset. Number two, we have to be discerning. We must have the spirit of discernment. What does that even mean? Discernment is the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure. It means something that your eyes cannot see, but you can perceive. You know, there's a feeling, there's an unction within you that says, there may be something here. Let me give it a shot. Right? Discernment means to be alert, to perceive, and to judge situations appropriately. That is another key to recognize an opportunity when it comes our way. Number three, is courage. Because it takes courage to give up control of what was, what our yesterday was, for us to live in today, in the present, and face the future potential of what is to come. So, what again are the keys to recognizing opportunity? Number one, our mindset, the way we think. I know we spent the last couple of weeks talking about mindset and we delved in deeper. If you haven't listened to those episodes, please go back to those ones and listen to those episodes on mindset first before you can then come into this episode or this series rather on opportunity, right? So number one key to recognizing opportunity is mindset. Number two is discernment. How do you discern what season you're in? This thing you have in your hand, is it a seed for you to sow or is it bread for you to eat? We need to understand what exactly is going on. And we can only do that by discerning and being able to comprehend what is obscure. Number three is courage. It takes courage to give up control of yesterday. A lot of us have gone through a lot in life. Traumas from yesterday has held us back from moving forward and laying hold of the opportunities that are available ahead of us, right? So the keys again is mindset, discernment, and courage. I call it MDC. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's move forward. Now, why do people? I must also make this clear that there are some people who have the right mindset, they are discerning, and they have courage, but they still fall short. It seems this thing, this opportunity thing, is out of reach. Why does that happen? Why? What I've learned is sometimes the reason we do not recognize opportunities or those opportunities we recognize do not turn into the experiences that we hope for, in most cases, often has to do with whether or not we are ready for the opportunities when it came, right? So look at the example of those boys, those dancers, Tofo dance group in Mozambique. Yes, they were dancing, they were doing all of those things. But imagine if when the US government reached out, because Beyonce literally had to enlist the help of the US Embassy in Mozambique to actually hunt those guys down. Imagine if they found them and they were like, oh, Beyonce needs you. And maybe they were like, I don't know. Who is this Beyonce of a lady? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a dancer, because they never envisioned it will happen, right? So we must always stay ready. It's not enough that we have the right mindset. We have discernment and courage if we are not ready for those opportunities when they come. So we must always be ready because what I've seen more so often than not is that most people live ready for what they expect to happen to them, not what they want. They live ready for, okay, what if my job fires me? What will I do? But they don't live for the life, that dream that they have inside of them. Oh, I want to be the best singer in the world. They're not ready for what if headhunted tomorrow? What if somebody introduces, mentions my name somewhere and I'm fished out? Or the same way Joseph in the Bible was not, I don't think he was even ready for what happened really. How he just overnight from prisoner to the palace, right? Because most of us, because of how life has beat us so down, we live ready for what we expect to happen. Like, when is the next thing going to happen? When is the next thing going to happen? Not for what we truly want in our lives, right? So, on this episode, my challenge to you today is to identify what are the mindset blocks that have kept you from recognizing opportunities in the past. It ties into the assignment from last week. Look back into the archives of your life. What are the opportunities that you have missed? I certainly have done this assignment, and there were definitely opportunities that I missed in the past. Two, find out where have you been discerning and your discernment has saved your life or improved your life? And where have you not been discerning and you have seen a not so favorable outcome? Number three, are you courageous? That's a food for thought I want to leave you with this week. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And on the next episode, we're going to be talking more about the golden key of opportunity. And until then, keep on shining. This episode is sponsored by our very own Mogul Mindset Training. Are you ready to embrace new experiences, see opportunities where you thought there was none, and totally surprise yourself? Because you can by unleashing the power of your mind. Mogul Mindset System is a 5-step system that helps you retrain your mind to work with you and not against you, so you can awaken your inner giant, 10x your impact, your income, and become truly unstoppable. The truth is, you, my friend, have a superpower, your creative genius. And I'm here to make that power multiply manyfold so you can get past fear, self-doubt, and finally start working and thriving in your life and business. Ready to unleash your superpowers? I thought you would. Head over to mogul.icandemy.org. That's mogul.icandemy.org to learn more. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wolabi. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.